Welcome back. We're at day 15 of how to have a productive business in real estate. All right. So the last two were pretty detailed, the branding and, being innovative, thinking outside the box. But today's going to be an easy one. Hard for some of you because a lot of you don't like to talk to people. But this is where we want our feedback, okay? If you look at any successful real estate team, office, what's one thing that you see either at the end of the email or maybe a tab in their websites? People look for references. They want to see what they said about you. Did you get 5 stars? Did you, how well did you, and because here's the deal. Everything that I think I've ordered, like big project wise, I've always asked someone who's already had it, who do you use? And of course, it's on me to do my research to make sure that they're a perfect fit for me. Just because it worked for him might not work for me. So when do we ask for feedback? Why is it important? People love success stories. They don't want to pay for something that they're going to have to pay double for by hiring somebody else in the next 6 weeks if it's all messed up. So feedback is important. So for the agent who is starting out, this is the easy one for you. When you send your introduction letter out saying that, hey, I got my real estate license. Hey, I'm with this franchise. A lot of people don't ask for this. But I've seen so many agents when I was getting into the business do it because they told me I had to do it. You have to ask for business. You have to ask. And one of the things I asked for besides the business, I asked for, I know you're not thinking about selling, but if you were thinking about selling, would you use me? Well, yeah. Well, why? Now, a lot of the answers were, Mike, I grew up with you. You're trustworthy. So you're not taking that whole statement, but you're taking the words that, hey, Mike, we've known each other for 13 years. I trust you. You're honest. You get right to the point. That's what you need right there. The bullet points. And ask them, hey, can you send this to me in an email? If I send you a form, can you fill it out? And then this way you can start building it up. And this is like month 1 of you in real estate. So imagine you doing that. You have a database of 100 people and say only 25% of them. Say only 25% of them do that. You have a website of 25 people who would recommend using you right out of real estate school, and why? I'm sorry, that's a no-brainer for me. I'm at least interviewing that person. That's a huge. I don't see that too often out there. Okay. So what happens when you get that one settlement? You get your first settlement. Great. I'll talk to you later. You're done, right? I can't count how many times I've gone into a listing appointment, and of course I wait till after the contracts are signed, the listing contracts are signed, but then I see that refrigerator that's got like 15 different magnets on there. And I'm like, where? He's like, oh yeah, these realtors keep sending me magnets, but they don't call me. They keep sending me stuff. They keep sending me Eagle schedules, Philly schedules, but nobody contacts me. I was like, well, when did you buy the house? I bought the house 5 years ago. Okay, stupid question, but I got to ask, why didn't you call your real estate agent? They never called me. After we sold the house, we just lost contact. That's horrible. That's horrible business. That's horrible planning. I can't count how many sellers I've gotten that were reselling and that did not use their past real estate agent. I'm not saying all of them, but there was a good portion of them, But this starts with you asking for feedback. Now, this is something that agents don't like to do too, because sometimes they don't like the feedback. They're afraid to ask. They're afraid to say, oh, how's the house going? Oh, and they're afraid to have the answers. Oh, the electrical shit, the window broke, the garbage disposal went on the first day. That's what their mindset is on some of these agents. But going forward, like going a little bit in the past and during their transaction, I know how well they're going to like this house because during that transaction, I'm making sure that they picked the right house. I'm making sure mentally that they just didn't settle for something. So I love when I ask for feedback, whether my admin sending out or I'm calling them a week after settlement. And during a transaction, when we have success periods, offer accepted, appraisal came in at value, um, mortgage commitment, all of that, any kind of success that we had during the transaction, the first thing I always say, hey, I just want to let you know the appraisal came in 10,000 over asking. Everything's good. We're going to go into the next phase. We're going to go into the title phase. Mike, that's great. You're awesome. Okay, great. So if you don't mind me asking, how do you the services that the Mike Fitzpatrick team are offering you? How do you feel they are? Oh, Mike, you guys are top notch. Okay, great. Who do you know that we can give the same services to? This is, I'm asking for business. But what I'm doing is I'm building them up at the end. Hey, I want to thank you again for trusting us, getting you the house. Mike, you're the best and awesome. Awesome, great. If you don't mind, could you physically now rate us? And then at the bottom, not do you know, who do you know that we can give the same services to that we gave to you to get you to where you need to be? Everybody knows at least somebody that is thinking about buying or selling. If you say the words do you know, it's automatically a yes or no answer. And the most common one's going to be no. If I do, I'll think of you. I'll reach out to you. But if I say who do you know, the word who is going to trigger who do I know that's selling a house right now or buying a house. Well, my uncle was thinking about selling his, shore house. Mike, yeah, I have an uncle that's looking to sell a shore house, but you're selling me a house in Bucks County. I don't know if you cover that area. That's your fault if you don't. If you are covering that area and you're not explaining to them. Yeah, we cover everywhere. We cover everywhere from South Jersey, Bucks County, Montgomery County, Northeast Philadelphia. So when you get that feedback, your admin, which you definitely have by now if you're at day 15, is putting that on your websites, is advertising that. Okay? And any other websites or platforms that you signed up to, like if you were an agent or what do they call them? Preferred agent with Zillow, you can put them on there. There's companies out there like UpNest. Wherever you're promoting yourself, you should have a link. Not for that platform. Have a link to go to your platform. So let me give you a perfect example. So say I have Zillow. And they're nice. Don't get me wrong. They have all the bells and whistles. They're like the new e-neighborhoods that was back in like 2000. They'll put the properties you sold. But where your bio is, whether it's in your email, whether it's in the platform that you're on, right underneath your name, you're allowed to put a hyperlink. For references or for our 5-star reviews, if you want to check them out or whatever, however you want to word it, click this link. That link will take them from that platform to the website that you created, your domain, whether it's through your franchise or whatever, or you just decide to create your own website. This is important because this is going to be a lead tracking system. So when they come on, you can either make them sign on or they can just view everything. Here's the first 5. If you want to look at the next 5, you got to put your information in. You could do something like that, or you can just give them free will on looking at all the references. Now, I don't recommend putting full names on there, contact information, only because of spam and data communication company. You can put a disclaimer, say, hey, full references can be presented at time of appointment. And I do that. Every time I go on an appointment, I have 5 references. I always check with my references first. I'll reach out to Mike, Tom, Steve, whatever, and say, hey, look, I'm just letting you know I'm probably going to be going on a lot of listing appointments in the next 6 months. Can I use your contact information if somebody wants to reach out to you and ask how we did as the Mike Fitzpatrick team getting you your property or getting your property sold? Mike, definitely. I'll give you a 5-star review. I'll tell them everything. And that's what you want. You build that up, and I guarantee you your 60 to 70% will increase. But the thing that's going to increase, you don't want the percentage of the 60 to 75% of my database. Like if I'm getting that from my business, that's fine. That's what I don't want 80. I don't want 90. I don't want 100% of my business coming from my database, because if that well dries up, I'm done. I want to always keep it at 60 to 75, but what I want to increase is the amount of people in my database. So if I have a database of 300 with those referrals, with that feedback, with the people that I'm contacting, that is what I want to increase. I want to increase the quantity of it. All right. How else can we give feedback? How else? Seminars. How about that? You just can't wing it. You know, you have to go in there with a plan. You have to go in there with an outline of what you're going to talk about. If you were to go through your own seminar, would you think it's beneficial? If you gave yourself a review, would you give yourself 1 star or 5 star? And why? And you have to be honest, because if you're only giving yourself 3 stars, what could be better? Well, Mike, I could have better food. No, you have better content. Why are people here? Are they here for the food? No. If they were here for the food, they'd be going to a restaurant. They're here because they want to buy a house. So show them how to buy a house. Because of the feedback system that we have, we went from, hey, oh, you want to see a property? I'll meet you out the property. And then you're asking them if they're pre-approved and they're not an axe murderer and they're not going to kill you and all that stuff. So we changed it up. We grew from that. We learned from our mistakes. We were averaging that every 5 strangers that we were showing a house to, 3 or 4 wouldn't buy. They had credit scores like below 500, you know? So we had to up our game, and that came with the feedback of what we were getting. So we changed it up a little bit. We asked 5 important questions for that buyer. And then after that 5 questions, we set up a buyer consult. So our buyer consult now goes about 45 minutes to 90 minutes, depending on how many questions they have. But I guarantee you, at the end of that conversation, that consult, not only do they know about real estate, but they know what to expect. They know the pre-approval process. They know the value of their pre-approval, which means is what their budget is. So even though they may be pre-approved up to $400,000, and you're out there showing them houses, and at the end of the day, when you show them 10 houses and they want to put an offer in, and then they realize what their monthly payment's going to be, like, Mike, I can't afford that. And this goes with the buyer consult. It's going to show them what their monthly payment is. It's going to keep them in the budget. It's also going to explain the whole real estate process, what to expect. All right, this is going to be our routine. When we look at the house, the first thing I want you to do when you get to the front door is do a 180. This is something I don't have control of. I want you to look at the neighborhood. I want you to say to yourself, after a hard day's work, this is the neighborhood I want to live in for the next 5, 10, 15 years. And then when you go inside, you have a system. I'm going to go upstairs first. I'm going to look at the bedrooms. What are my hot points? What am I looking for? 2 bathrooms upstairs. You want all the bedrooms upstairs, central air, newer roof, whatever your hot points are, focus on that. Okay. And then I'm not going to go through the whole process, but that's what we do. And at the end of that buyer consult, guess what I'm asking for? I'm asking for feedback. Is there anything that we didn't answer? Now, after about 15 years of doing this, in the last 4 years, I have not had one person say, Mike, you left this out. Mike, you didn't disclose this. Mike, you didn't describe this. Our buyer consults are top notch. We answer all questions. We take people off cloud 9, put them in reality of what they can afford. Mike, I'm pre-approved up to $400,000, and I want this area that's actually going for $390,000 to $600,000. You're going to get beat up. You're going to get beat up really bad in that neighborhood. Are you dead set on that neighborhood? No, I can do the surrounding areas. Okay, so let's pick a surrounding area that may be in the 300 to 375 range, where now you're the boss man. Now people are, they're getting beat out because of your offer, and that's part of the buyer consult. It basically puts leverage back in the buyer's hands. All right. Any questions? Please respond. I've been liking the comments. I've been liking the text, the feedback so far. This is great. This is definitely something different for me. So if you have any real estate questions, mortgage questions, title or coaching questions or anything, give me a call at the Mike Fitzpatrick team at 267-549-2505. Talk to you later.